At Great Wolf Lodge, there's adventure for the whole family. You and your pack can splash away in the indoor water park where it's always 84 degrees. There's a massive wave pool, a lazy river, and tons of water slides for your pack to enjoy together. And the fun doesn't stop there. Get ready to explore and play at adventure-packed attractions from Magi Quest, a live-action game that takes place throughout the lodge, to the Northern Lights Arcade. There's also a bunch of great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. And the best part, with 23 lodges across the country, you're always only a short drive away from adventure. I am so excited to visit Great Wolf Lodge with my nephew who's 6. He cannot wait for the water park. So bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Book your stay today at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by the brilliant Brie Tucker.
Why, hello, buddy. How are you?
We have something a little different for you today, and I am super excited about it because it came together, I feel like, so much better than I thought it would. We are interviewing 3 of our Balance members today, and I love them so much.
Oh my gosh, I love getting to talk to our Balance members, and you can hear when we're talking to them, like how well we know their stories and what they've been going through. And I got to say, it's always nice to have a CSI investigator in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Telling you where to bury the bodies.
She helps us bury bodies. No. That's a frequent joke here. But you're going to be hearing today from Amanda, from Allie, and from Nancy. And each of them had specific challenges that we think that you will very much relate to. Amanda, who you're going to hear from first, she had some issues with her in-laws not respecting her wishes for how she wanted to raise her kids. And so you're going to hear exactly how she solved that and went through that. Allie had an issue with bedtime and her child not going to bed. And Allie woke up like the next morning, always exhausted, couldn't get it under control. And it all had to do with the bedtime. So you're going to hear how she handled that one. And then Nancy felt like she never had any time to herself. And she was always running from thing to thing. And it was so chaotic. And so you're going to hear how Nancy solved that. And they're all moms. They're all juggling work and kids. And I think it's going to be a really, really amazing episode for you. And I can't wait to show them off, Brie.
Yeah, you can't argue with real life scenarios.
Yeah.
And it's also helpful when you hear somebody struggling with the same thing that you have struggled with. Mm-hmm. Because you're like, oh, because sometimes you can feel alone when people aren't talking about that struggle in your life, or your friends or your family. That's an area that you're struggling in, but they're doing excellent in. Oh, that could put a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's hard. So we get real with them and they tell you what worked. And I can't wait for you to hear it. So let's get on with the show. Amanda, welcome to the podcast. Brie and I are so excited to have you here because we really haven't gotten to showcase many Balance members on this podcast. So welcome. And we're really excited to dig in to your story.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell us about that challenge you were experiencing right before you joined Balance.
So right before I joined Balance, I was having massive boundary issues with my in-laws, and it was becoming so much of a struggle. It was actually affecting my relationship with my husband because he felt very much caught. But
in the middle.
He was in the middle of both me and his mom, and he had that kind of ward in him because he wanted to be supportive of both. And it was really frustrating, and I didn't know how to appropriately set a boundary so my mother-in-law wouldn't encroach on our life to the degree that she was.
There was some things too with your kids and your mother-in-law as well about you wanted your kids to do certain things, but your mother-in-law did not think that was their job.
Yes. I want to, our culture, they want our kids to be independent and do things for themselves. Put your dishes away after you have eaten.
Yeah.
Eat at the table, put your clothes in the laundry hamper. One of the big ones was when you come into the house after school, put your shoes in a certain location and hang up your book bag. And my in-laws would pick them up from school because of my job or Jose's job. And they would come in after school and they would just throw their stuff down wherever. And I asked my in-laws, like, hey, this is what they're supposed to be doing. And I was told, no, they're kids. You're supposed to do that.
Okay, that makes me think of that meme. He's just a baby.
He's just a
baby. But they weren't babies.
It's also frustrating as a parent when you're trying to alleviate some of the work you have to do, but you have this other adult telling you, no, you're wrong. This is how moms are supposed to be. And I remember these conversations because you came in to Balance in 2022 and tell us what the turning point was. What was a specific moment you realized that you needed some help?
So I was actually on a road trip. We were in Tennessee. The whole goal of our family is to go to all 7 continents and all 50 states. That's our family goal.
That's cool.
Thank you. So we were on this road trip. It is a family thing, family goal. It is the 4 of us together to spend time, have an adventure. And we left, but my mother-in-law was constantly calling. There was this, how dare you leave us out of this? How dare you be?
And you're already gone.
That's hard.
It's we're not going to turn around the car and come back.
And it's not like she didn't know that this was our family goal. This was not the first trip we had taken. So it's not like there was some sort of precedence for her to be going on these things. So it was really hard. Yeah, I was so frustrated. And my husband was kind of I don't know who I'm supposed to support. So he was being kind of like a Switzerland, which was
not helpful.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
You were stuck in the middle between your mother-in-law and your husband, and this person who was supposed to support you wasn't, because of cultural expectations, to defer to his mom versus his wife.
Yeah.
And it was a really tricky situation. So you signed up for Balance, and what was one lesson or tool that really shifted how you looked at this situation?
Okay, so I think the biggest thing I learned is when we were going over boundaries themselves. And it shifted how I thought about boundaries, because it was always don't do this or this. And when it shifted to this idea of, if you do this, then I will respond this way. This is the boundary and this is how I will respond. I can't control what the other person does, but I can control my response. And that creates a better boundary.
Yeah. How did you apply that with your mother-in-law?
So it was great.
I was so happy for you, though. I was so happy because your mood completely shifted to Amanda, where you felt like you were basically, I don't like to use the word victim with you because you're not at all, but you felt like you were stuck in this situation. And then it turned into this whole, you were powerful in the situation. You had influence in it.
I did. We still had struggles over them not, still the kids were coming home from school and they wouldn't tell them, hang your stuff up. It takes 20 seconds to do. And I finally said, hey, this is what I need them to do. If you can't do that, that's fine. You just won't be picking the kids up from school anymore. I will make arrangements to have somebody who can. If you can't do that, that's fine. I'm just going to get someone who can. They kind of saw it as a threat to not see their kids anymore, but they need to learn how to be independent and things. So, it wasn't unreasonable. Obviously, I had to discuss this deeply with Jose before going forward. There was the whole cultural, I was like, I am your wife. I had your children. You support me. I am number 1. Your mom is number 2 now. That took him some time, but he did get on board. So I have this really supportive partner now when it comes to that particular familial relationship. So when we started this, I mean, it's a very small boundary. It's just a little thing, but that's, again, balance is like start with something little and then you kind of slowly build the things on. Don't try and do it all at once because your head will explode and nothing good will come of it.
Yes. And this like small little boundary was just, I feel like the start of so many others that you put in place. Because on our weekly coaching calls, you were like, oh my gosh, I did this thing with the school and you'd be so proud of me, Joanne. I loved seeing it. You just stepping in for what you wanted.
Yeah, and I would not have come up with any of it on my own without balance. There's no way this stuff would have ever occurred to me. It would have never occurred to me that a boundary is about my reaction, not trying to get somebody to follow my rules.
Mm-hmm. Right? I think it's important to note that when you're dealing with a generational case, a lot of times our parents aren't that familiar with boundaries. They really aren't.
They're not.
And so they do think we're out to get them. And we're like, dude, no, that's not what I was saying.
I'm trying to do what's best for my kids. I want them to grow to be like a whole human being, not somebody who's going to expect that, you know, they're not going to look for like a mother figure and a partner. So they have somebody when they're grown to take care of them. I want them to be the supportive, equal partner that, I mean, I kind of feel that's one of the things we're doing as parents is to set them up for that. Mm-hmm. And I finally feel like we're getting there with them. Like, I don't have to remind them where to put their stuff anymore. I don't have to remind them to, you know, when you're done, leave the table and take your dishes. We haven't moved on to put them in the dishwasher yet because one step at a time.
Yeah. And your kids are young. Like, remind me how old they are.
They are 8 and 10.
8 and 10. Yeah. You have time on that one. They are of the age where like you'll see the skills grow. So what would you say to another mom who feels the same way you used to feel before balance? What does she need to do?
They have to remember that they are not the boss of the family. The family is a group, a unit. They're a team working together, and it is not their job to do everything. You know, you can get there with your kids so that they're contributing members, and learning how to set a proper boundary will alleviate so much stress. It will take so much off your plate.
It's like hard at first. You feel like the emotions come through, but once you can get through those emotions, which we're always there to support you, and we supported you through getting through all the emotions of the situation as well. Once you get through it, it is such a better place on the other side.
Yeah, there is growing pains, but it is so worth it.
I have a question, Amanda. So to wrap this up, how would you describe your relationship with your in-laws now?
So it is more respectful at this point.
That's awesome.
And that's an important part. Yes. Well, thank you, Amanda, so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Sure.
And we'll see you in balance. We'll be right back with Allie.
Hey guys, it's Bree. If you're navigating anxiety, depression, relationship challenges, or just feeling like you are stuck in survival mode, we get it, and you deserve the care that meets you where you are. That's exactly what Grow Therapy is here for. Grow Therapy makes it easier to find the right therapist for you. And if there's one thing that Joanne and I know about therapy, is that the right therapist makes amazing things happen. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions. So whether you need someone who specializes in postpartum mental health or a therapist who really understands the dynamics of co-parenting, Grow helps you find your fit. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on your plan. So visit growtherapy.com/NGM today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/NGM. growtherapy.com/NGM. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Taking on a DIY job around the house is the ultimate summer project. But if your DIY home security system is a beware of dog sign, when your real pet is Princess the cat, that's safe-ish. To be actually safe, help protect your home with a DIY system from ADT. It's easy to install and gives you virtual assistance from ADT's technical support team. Best of all, you can tell everyone in the neighborhood you set it up yourself. Don't settle for safe-ish this summer. DIY with ADT instead. Visit ADT.com to learn more.
Okay, let's talk about money. Bree, do you know exactly how many financial accounts you have?
I have like 3 401ks. I sure don't. But I hope it's doing what it's supposed to. I just don't have time to figure out where it all is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you've got money coming in from all of these multiple places, it's so easy to assume that things are fine, but that's how we leave money on the table.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, Monarch Money has been a game changer to help me with that. It pulls everything. I can connect it to my bank accounts, credit cards, investment accounts, and it turns it all into this really easy to read dashboard.
Yeah, what's really cool is it doesn't just show you the numbers, it tells you what's happening with your money. Like you may discover that you're not saving nearly as much as you thought.
Yep, Monarch gives me that big picture view so nothing slips through the cracks.
So if you're trying to save more, invest smarter, or just stop stressing over money, don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code NOGUILT at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code NOGUILT. Allie, it is so awesome to have you here on the podcast. We have been looking forward to chatting with you. Welcome, welcome.
Thanks, and I'm really honored to be here.
So one thing that we wanted to talk about with you today is that before you joined Balance, you had this challenge with your son and bedtime. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my son is 11 years old, and bedtime just never ended. It would be an hour and a half after it was supposed to be bedtime. There's always this, and then that, and then this, and then that. And then I wasn't going to bed till like 11 o'clock, 12 by the time I'm wrap everything up. So I was exhausted the next day, and it just began a very vicious cycle of me always being tired. I also have a 2-year-old. Well, at that point it was 1, so she was still waking up lots in the middle of the night. So it was like very little sleep.
And sleep is like the thing that I know messes me up. If I don't get it, it messes so many people up. And this sleep issue, it affected your day-to-day life too, because I see you every morning in Balance for body doubling. And you mentioned that the only reason you're able to do body doubling is because now you were able to solve the sleep issue.
Mm-hmm. So what I started to do is, as I was taking the course, I started to realize that it wasn't my job to make my son go to bed. So I started to create boundaries, not so much a stricter routine, but just a, hey, I'm going to go to bed at 9. If you're not there, I'm not tucking you in. And because he still wants me to tuck him in, he started to go to bed and be there by 9 and ready. And so then I could tuck him in before I go to bed, because it only took, I think, twice where I didn't tuck him in for him to start.
It's so interesting because we're doing a theme throughout these interviews, because Amanda also had a boundary thing about, you know, it's not telling somebody you have to be in bed.
Mm-hmm.
It's more telling what you're going to do if that bedtime doesn't happen. It's so interesting to see that shift.
Yes, right. And so that's what it came to as like, my boundaries, this is what I'm going to do, not what you're going to do.
Yeah. And you have an interesting story too about your turning point when you decided you needed balance, because you didn't think you needed balance. You came in on one of our free trials, and then when you started going through the program, something happened for you.
Mm-hmm. So because I knew I only had 30 days, I really was, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do as much of the course as I can within that 30 days. And so I think within the first 30 days, I did the first 2 phases. And I was like, okay, I actually do need this, and I can already see how it's benefiting me and my family. So the free trial was really great because now I'm in.
What do you think were like the biggest turning points in the program for you where you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I do need this?
In the earlier lessons, when you guys talked briefly about boundaries with the whole, it's not what your boundaries isn't making the person do it, it's what you're going to do as a result. I think that was the biggest aha for me, but also just realizing that, so I have a very helpful family. I've always mentioned my husband is really great with that because I never realized how overwhelmed I felt because I never realized how much of the mental load fell on me. So when we were talking about all that kind of stuff, I was like, oh, that's why I feel this way all the time. And then there's practical steps on how to get out of those ruts, which has been phenomenal.
Yeah, that mental load, like we don't realize that as moms, how much we do take on and how much is on our plate. So, how do things look different for you now compared to before you started Balance?
I don't get phased by my kids. That's the biggest thing is, again, it's not my responsibility to, if my 2-year-old is having a temper tantrum, I just can sit there with her through the emotions and help her calm down. If my son is having a hard time, it's not my responsibility to make him do this schoolwork. I can be there as like a, hey, do you need help? But it's not my responsibility for it to get done. And even with my husband, we talk a lot more. And the other day, we're in the middle of moving and I can feel myself being a little bit snappish. And my husband said something and I flew off on him and realized in the middle of the conversation exactly what the emotions were that I was feeling because we talk about the bigger emotions. I was like, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling like everything that I've done has been negated because of this one comment. I know that's not what you meant, but it makes me feel isolated. And so because I was able to verbalize it, we were able to stop right there without it escalating, get back to neutral, and make a plan that both of us worked with.
That's a huge thing. Stopping without it escalating and noticing those emotions. So it just makes me feel so proud of you, Allie, that you were able to put those in place because it is a huge communication tool and so beneficial to relationships when we're able to notice our emotions and then take the action steps we need to calm down and communicate those to a partner. And what would you say to another mom who used to feel like you did before Balance, where she doesn't quite realize how much she's holding on to and she's overwhelmed and not quite sure what to do about it?
I think the community is amazing. The body dubbing group has been great. I miss it when I was on holidays. But even just the Mighty Network, if you have any questions, there's so many people who answer them, and you never feel like what you're saying is going out into nothing. Somebody always is there to not necessarily give a suggestion, but just to like be there with you. And what's the harm in trying? You don't know what you don't know.
True. You don't know what you don't know. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Allie, for coming on. And I will see you tomorrow morning at Body Doubling.
You bet.
We'll be right back with Nancy.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Hey, Nancy, thank you for being here and doing this with us. I know that getting on an interview, I just want to say how brave. You're very, very brave right now. And I want to comment on that.
Thank you.
It's not easy. I got to tell you, I got roped into this thing also. It was, hey, Bree, come hang out with me. And we're going to do a podcast real fast. I'm like, what?
And 400 episodes later, look where we are.
I know. Wow.
There we go.
It's extraordinary.
Nancy, you are in our balance program, and I get to see you most mornings for body doubling. And I thought you would be so great to share your story about what you were facing before you joined balance, just one of your challenges. So tell us about that challenge. What was going on?
Okay, so I've always wanted to wake up early, and it's a little chaotic for me most mornings. In the balance program, we actually work on a part where we do a morning routine and we use ChatGPT, and I thought that was really cool. So before balance, I would have chaotic mornings where I'd wake up, like give myself only maybe half an hour to try to get breakfast ready, kids ready, myself ready, and we'd have to head out the door, get my kids to school on time, get my kid shipped off to daycare with grandpa, and then me to work on time. So it was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot in the morning.
Yeah.
I feel like she's just listing it off like it's like normal, but I keep forgetting we're moms. Yeah, people are like, oh, sure, they can do whatever.
How did that feel stress level wise, Nancy? Like, what was that like?
Very stressful.
I bet.
Yeah, I would always say, like, why can't I wake up earlier? Why don't I give myself more time? Like, we need to be more on time. And every day I would just start my day off like that. And by the time I got to work, I think I was like, oh.
You were like beating yourself up so much. And I think so many moms do that. I mean, like I have been in that situation too, where I've beat myself up telling me all the should haves and shoulding on myself. And it's a horrible place to be. And then you started body doubling with us in the morning. Tell me about your experience with that.
Yeah, I was actually really excited that you had body doubling. I was like, oh, this sounds like a really good opportunity to have accountability. So I felt like I need to take advantage of this. And it was at 6 a.m. And at first I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. 6 a.m. club. Yes.
That would have been my answer. I would have been like, is there a later option? Maybe afternoons.
Right? Yeah, I was thinking that too. But I was like, 6, I think I could do it. So I started getting up at 6 a.m., showing up on Zoom, and we would list off like things we would do. And my goal at that time was just to get up and make it by 6.
And I actually love what you did in there, Nancy. Like for a really long time, you don't even show your face on camera right at 6. Like you are literally just getting out of bed, whatever you can do to make it there. And I think that's really smart to start into a new habit like this.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And I thought it was so awesome that you were totally understanding and you were like, you could be off camera and stuff. And I felt like, okay, like, thank you for recognizing that and making it easier to just like at least be there. I liked being at least in the presence of all these women and all these moms that were also there. We were all there to just accomplish something or even just be there for each other, be support. It was great.
And what did you find out as you did body doubling more and more and more? What changed for you?
Okay, so at first it was just all about waking up and trying to get things done. Mm-hmm. But then I realized even though 50 minutes or an hour felt like it was short, it also felt a little long and I felt like I could do a lot of stuff. So at first I was trying to get a lot of stuff done, like get myself ready, get some exercise in, get this and that. But over time with body doubling, I realized that I actually was making time for myself. And so that was the great part. So I was playing around with either doing meditation or doing a quick movement workout. And those are one of my favorite things to do when we're doing body doubling. And I felt like that was all just for me. And I noticed that after doing that every session, my mornings just felt a lot better. I felt a lot of calmness. And I felt like the chaos that I used to experience was like totally calmed down.
Oh, I love that.
That it's just an amazing thing to see you go through too, Nancy, because I've noticed like the calmness come over you in the mornings as well. Just at the end when you come on and you say what you did and you're like, that's what I did. And you're accepting it and you're proud of it. Has this affected other parts of your life now too?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Actually, now that you mention it, I think I always used to think I had to get so many things done. And I would kind of beat myself up about not getting enough done and all these things. And I didn't even notice, like I would say in body doubling at the end of the session, I would just be like, and that's all I did. and then you would be like, oh my gosh, Yeah. And you would be like, oh my gosh, you got a lot done. And then I was like, okay, that's true. I got a lot done. And then I realized like everyone's trying to get so much done, but why does it really matter? So I started kind of changing and being a little bit more kinder to myself because that's what we talked about. And that's what I did. I would tell myself, I wouldn't say it out loud, but I'd be like, and it's okay. It's okay.
I love that.
It's okay. Exactly. What would
Yeah.
you say to another mom who felt the same way you did, where everything felt chaotic and rushing and just beating herself up about things that she can't get done? What would you say to her?
Well, I would first say all of that is not helpful. So it's probably better to not beat yourself up about it. And honestly, I mean, if she's in balance, I would tell her come to body doubling. That is a great place to be accountable and work on things and try things out and try it with another group of women that are moms also that understand and that get it and just do it and not be in your head so much. Just slowly make little changes and it just takes a really small change. One little thing that I did was just wake up early at 6 a.m. And then I think now I'm just a lot nicer to myself and I'm having calmer mornings. So I guess stuff like that.
That is excellent advice. And thank you, Nancy, so much for coming on. And I have to say, like, you're an interview pro. Now you can do like all the podcasts in the world and not be afraid of it because look at how amazing you did with this one. So thank you.
You are our cheerleader, girl.
Well, I mean it. I mean it. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. So
I know, but I mean, that's why Nancy and I were both like that. We're like, yep, that sounds like Joanne right there. That like, look at what you did. It's awesome. We need that. We need that.
We need more pats on the back for what we did. Thank you so much, Nancy. And I'll see you in body doubling, where if you're listening to this, we do have a later body doubling as well. If 6 a.m. Pacific is a little too early for you, there's a 10 a.m. as well. So just to put that out there.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you both.
So, Bree, I noticed we had a bit of a pattern going with those interviews. A lot of them had to do with boundaries and setting boundaries between our time and what we give to other people. Like, I think every single one of them. Amanda was talking about boundaries of what she expected in terms of like how she wanted her kids to do chores, how she wanted her kids to pick up after themselves. Allie talked about boundaries of what she wouldn't do during bedtime and what she would do, which was the game changer for her. And then Nancy, her boundaries were actually her morning time and how she started waking up and protecting that, even when kid interruptions happened too. So like it was all boundaries related. I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. And the good news is you don't have to get up at 6 a.m. to make them work, but it can be helpful when you have other people doing stuff with you. To jump back to Nancy there, I like really relate to the needing to have other people there to get me up. And I don't want to say accountable, but it is accountable.
Yeah. Well, what's really interesting about the body doubling is because, you know, during the summer, it's a little easier to wake up at 6 a.m. because the sun's out and everything.
5 a.m. here. Oof.
I'm noticing a trend now that, first of all, it's harder for me to wake up. And I'm really looking forward to our non-time change here in Arizona, where I get to wake up at 7 when time changes for everyone else. They're still at 6. But people are logging on now without video in the morning and just typing in what they're doing. And then at the end of the hour, everybody's on and their faces are on and they're ready. They're ready to start their day. But it just shows you that you don't have to be perfect to show up. You just have to show up. And you can get what you want to get done. So it's been like such a pleasure to host the body doubling because I've learned so much about myself from waking up that early every morning as I've seen them grow as well. And I actually like talk about them a lot in my upcoming book, The Best Mom is a Happy Mom. They have quite a bit of a chapter devoted to them, my body doubling crew. So
yeah, that's awesome. And you know what else? If you were listening to this episode and you're like, you know what? I want to try what they're talking about. We actually have a challenge coming up September 22nd through the 25th. Master your emotions.
Yes.
Come and join us.
Come and join us. It's like a little bite-sized Costco sample of what our Balance membership's about. So you can try it out. You can have some fun with us. And also like get some really great tools for mastering your emotions during that week. Like you're going to have a great week and a total mind shift about what you can be able to do and what is just impossible. So you're going to give yourself a lot of grace in the process as well. So come and join us. We have that link down there in the show notes for you. And of course, we're assuming we're going to see you there. We're going to see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be there.
Because the truth of the matter is, it's not really work when you get to hang with Joanne and I.
Exactly.
It's fun. We bring the party.
So fun.
Yeah. So work doesn't really feel like work. And accountability, it's just a party favor of everything that you're doing. So come and join us because Master Your Emotions is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so you'll have that link right down there in the show notes. Go and grab it. And until next time, remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you. And we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You can also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.